In my practice, what I've figured out over the last several decades is we kind of created this situation for ourselves because we did one thing as a society back about 50 years ago. What we did was we monetized our home. If you go back probably to the late 60s and early 70s, you see historically a big change. The change was that people began to look at their homes as an investment. They began to talk about it as something that they could make money at. I remember growing up in Kaneohe in the 50s, where my mother and father's home cost a grand total of $12,000. And even at that point, at that time, 70 years ago, it was a very expensive thing. But by the time the 70s came along, that $12,000 home was now around $50,000. So we think about it, within a 25-year period, it had gone up an incredible amount of money relative to what it actually was. It was somebody's home. And I remember when I was working in the early 70s that if you made $5,000 a year in the early 70s, homes could be bought for $50,000. So there was a ratio there of about 10%. But if you think about it where it is now, the homes are at $1 million. Our salaries have not kept up with that. So we are now faced with a situation where the value of the home is so high, but our incomes have not kept up with that, not at all. All right. So one of the struggles I've seen with my customers is I need my home because at some point when I retire, I'm going to need money to take care of myself. I'm going to need money for my long-term care. So I'm going to sell it, and I'm going to sell it at $1 million. And so my son, whom I love, and my grandkids, whom I love, they're not going to be able to buy the home. So one of the things that I've struggled with over the last bunch of years is what other ways are there for local families to have the homes passed to their children? What I'm going to show you is how a financial product can be used in 4 scenarios to help the kids buy the home from the parents.